We get it done regardless.
As long as we've got that thick, ropey...
ropey. I like you love the word ropey.
Yeah, I know, yeah. When I'm talking
love it.
about... When I'm trying to refer to our content as jizz, yes.
Yeah.
Then our content is thick and ropey. And speaking of thick and ropey...
And viscous.
What a way to introduce our guest tonight. The multi-talented, very handsome. He's a tradesman. He's a bar manager. He's a comedian. He's whipped up some absolute fucking delicious whiskey sour for us.
Yeah, whiskey sour.
Whiskey
To
sour.
start the show, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our guest for tonight, Mr. Zach Watson. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on,
Thanks,
man.
fellas.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Now, look, we always do on this podcast. We'll start where it all began. Did you normally if we're asking a musical guest, we'll go, oh yeah, so did you fucking, start playing music when you were young? You probably weren't whipping up cocktails in the cot.
You never know though.
You never know. But obviously the trade came first. You're a gyppy, as you said. So what was your first ever job though that you had?
First ever job, helping out at the local footy club canteen.
Nice.
Is that a paid gig?
No, it was free food. Yeah.
Was it $2 cans of Cokes, Red Frogs, that kind of?
Yeah, all that type of bizzo, and it was like, so I'm a bit older than you fellas. It was like a push fucking cash register, and you just pressed a button, opened it up, and just put the money in there.
Yeah,
so,
okay, killer.
Yeah, I reckon that was the first job, and then from there, so I grew up in country Victoria.
Yep.
So that was at the footy club, and then from there it was the girlfriend's parents owned the local fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was called Karen's Cafe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an epic name.
So many complaints in that place.
Yeah. No, there was no complaints because she was just
ran it.
Yeah, she was stomping down.
No one's complaining to her.
Yeah, this was back in the day. Karen didn't own it anymore. It was owned by the Stevens, which my girlfriend was Liz, the daughter, and her old man was Steve-O, and then Cheryl was the mum, and they were really lovely, and they'd be serving, and I remember going in there after school, and they'd be like, "Watto, can you give us a hand?" And I just remember putting down baskets of chips and making burgers and all that type of shit, stacking the fridges and all that, and so I reckon that was the next one, and then from there I was in high school. I didn't want to leave high school, so I applied for a job at our local Coles. And went in with another girl from my school, and we had the interview, and I fucking nailed it, answered every question, was confident, happy, making them laugh, this is great,
cool. Who's this kid, man? We need fucking...
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, you're unsuccessful, and they hired the girl that was with me, and she was she couldn't answer a question, she was so quiet, and they must have just been this bloke's gonna steal stuff, or he's gonna be talking to the customers.
They got suspicious, they were like, this guy's too confident.
Yeah, this guy's gonna cause a ruckus for sure.
He's gonna take down Coles.
Jumping back to because you mentioned before, so what was the town that you grew up in? Druin.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned that's home to a couple of famous footy players, none more famous, I think, in the world. Well, in the world of Australia.
In the world of
Australia, than Gary Ablett Senior. Was the footy club? Was that where they actually played as youngsters as well? The one that you ended up working in the canteen for? Or?
No. So I started out playing for a team the next town over with a lot of my mates that I went to school with. That was Longwarry Football Club. I started there and then moved to Druin Football Club in under 18s.
Yeah.
So it was two different leagues. So I started in the EDFL and then went to I can't remember. It was the Latrobe Footy League or something, and went and played for Druin. And yeah, so that's where Gary Ablett played. That's where Dale Thomas played. Who else? Luke Ablett, who ended up going on and playing for the Swans.
Yep.
Played there. A lot of good VFL footballers come from there as well.
Wow. So, okay, so this is a town rich with heritage.
Yeah, well, Tim Woody, he ended up getting adopted by a family who are from Druin, and I think he grew up there for a bit, which is Cool. Yeah, a lot of rich footy heritage. I guess.
So you obviously played footy for a fair while then as well.
I did until I moved over here, and then I played for another club over here for just a few games. But I still look at that club as my club, and I go there.
Yeah, which
from
one's
time
that?
to time. Woodville South.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Do you have any family still back where in Druin?
My old man still lives over there. My auntie, uncle, and I think the nephews are all spread around and so on.
Well, right.
But my older sister lives over here. So she was over here, and that's why I end up in Adelaide. So
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So who do you go for in the AFL then?
I'm a Collingwood supporter.
Collingwood?
Oh.
Yeah. So
you're a bit sad.
No, I'm still all right. We've still got another chance. Yeah, we're playing Freo this weekend.
Well, Freo should have got put away after they were down from
100%.
39 points.
100%.
And I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's been... Because obviously all the finals had been classics. All weekend had been great. And then I saw that game. That's nearly halfway through the second term. They're down by 39 points. Haven't even kicked a goal yet. I'm like, this one's over. And they come back and win and knock the doggies out. That was one of the best weeks of finals I think
definitely.
we've ever had, man.
I had a few mates over at my place and we had beers, barbecue and everything, watching the footy, and they're all Port supporters and obviously Port aren't in there. And so they were being good mates and supporting Collingwood. And yeah, we went
Birds
down
of a feather, really, Collingwood and fucking Port, aren't they?
Well,
Prison bars aside, but, culture and supporters are pretty much, of the same caliber.
That's it. We're all missing teeth and we're all car thieves. So.
A few bags of frozen water getting fucking slung around.
No. Who was that like AFL, like he's a bit of an older dude. I think he was a coach. And he was like making jokes on TV about like, he's like, oh yeah, I got this frozen water business. And they actually found out that he got done selling ice.
That was the
Thompson.
Geelong.
Bob Thompson.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He was literally said on TV, he's like, yeah, I sell frozen water.
And then fucking ends up getting done for hell ice.
That's crazy.
How's the Wayne Carey thing?
What is that? I don't understand.
But now he's like just recently, I don't know if you guys saw it, he's putting in for like discrimination against his disability because he's saying the bag of powder was something to do with his disability. Like, I don't know.
So what happened? I don't know the situation at all.
He was gambling on the table. He pulled out his wallet and like, I don't know if he was buying more chips or something and a bag just fell on the table.
Oh, okay. And they reckon it's a baggie of Coke or?
I think so. I don't know I don't think it was like confiscated. I think it was given back to him, but they saw it and all that and they were like high profile guy. And they kicked him out of the casino and then said he couldn't stay there the night because he had a room there and shit.
Oh, true.
So,
wow.
And then from there he stood down from his footy.
So apparently he's reportedly retained lawyers to explore disability discrimination claim against casino.
Yeah, there you go.
White powder incident. And I shared it and I said, you got away with glassing a chick and rooting your best mate's missus. Like, maybe just take the L. At what point do you go, you know what? I've had a pretty good run. Like how many other... Think about now in today's age as well. How no one could do what he did in modern times and still get a gig on TV.
But that's the later stuff. Like early in his career, he was done for just grabbing a lady on the breast. And they saw that and they were like, you can't do that. And so he was known as, this type of person early in his career because... He was also, he was a great footballer. Like,
fucking
awesome footballer.
In the GOAT conversation for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why they're North Melbourne supporters today. Because they watched him in the 90s.
Yep.
But just an absolute fucking shit person.
Yeah,
sounds like it.
But yeah, what I want to know is, how he said, discrimination against his disability. What is the disability for him to be having a bag of powder? Like,
he said it was anti-inflammatories, but it's like, why? Like, what's your disability? What's your disability that you would need crushed up Nurofen? Like, it's there. So many questions.
Definitely quick. And we're at the point these days where like, does anyone even give a fuck?
Well, that's what I saw there. That 28-year-old male shared it. It was like, who under the age of 50 gives a fuck about a dude having a bag of coke?
Like,
hasn't everyone? Like, hasn't everyone dropped a baggie out their back pocket at this point? I know
ridiculous.
I have.
It's ridiculous.
It's just it's insane.
I understand like the people are like, he's got to be representing a big good role model, but
he's too old. Like he's he's aged out of role model status. Like he never was a role model. So if anyone's decided now that he's like commentating or like doing the after show kind of shit, that he's now a role model, and like it's just it doesn't make any sense.
But
man.
that's the face that the AFL want. They want their commentators, ambassadors to have that face.
100%.
And so he shouldn't have a job anymore, and he shouldn't be allowed to do that. But fuck, look at all the other fucking commentators. They all go out on the piss and play up. So
but that's what I mean. That's the thing I don't understand. It's just like it's just that whole like illegality around it thing that makes it like, oh my God, it's so bad. But then, the shit that they get up to when they're drunk or whatever as well, most of the time is probably more reprimandable or whatever, but because they're engaging in something deemed legal, it's just like slap on the wrist. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing where it's like, if you're doing anything that is like altering your, or inebriating you or whatever, you should be looked at it the same way. It shouldn't just be, now this is frowned upon because, cocaine bad. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing's just fucking stupid to me. And it just gets so much airtime. We've really got sidetracked from your fucking your journey.
Haven't we?
Tell us about your cocaine use.
Right. Never done cocaine.
Me neither, brother. Me neither. Now,
Straight edge here, boys.
So you didn't get the job at Coles?
No.
And so then what was your so we've gone from the canteen, then the fish and chip shop. You've tried to step up into that corporate structure and get that Coles job.
Well, my whole thing was, if I get this, I can stay at high school and continue to, because I live with a single dad. It was just me and him. And I thought, if I got this job, I can stay in high school. I can, help him pay rent and all that bizzo. Didn't get the job and was like, fuck, what am I going to do now? And it was only one of my mates' dad's friend was a brickie. And I remember we were there on the piss, like we were 16. I started drinking when I was fucking 15. Like that's what you did in the country town.
Yeah, 100%.
And we were there after the footy one day and we're having beers with my mate's dad, and his friend rocked up and they were talking about work, and he was a bricklayer. I said, I wouldn't mind doing bricklaying. Like, are you looking for anyone? He's like, nah, we're not. And then like a few months later, I get a phone call, and it was this bloke, Charlie, and he said, what, are you still want to do some work? And I was like, oh, yeah, but, I'm at school and I've got so I was in year 10 at the time, and over in country Victoria in year 10, you do the debutante ball.
Okay, what's that?
So debutante ball is when they introduce the 16-year-old girls to the community. And everyone dresses, like the girls dress in like these wedding dresses, and you got to wear tuxedos, and you do dances, and then they talk about that and you present it to the community and so on. And a girl asks you throughout your high school life if you'd like to do it with them. And then, your whole year 10 classes do this debutante ball. It's at the school in the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Kids fucking spend heaps of money on dresses and all that type of bizzo.
Did you get that?
No. I think it's like a country town thing.
It's a real
okay.
country thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, I promised this girl that I'd go to the deb with her. And he's like, yeah, no, that's fine. So I started working with him, did like a year as a bricklayer, supposedly as an apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
But he never sent my papers away. So I did a year essentially as a labourer.
Yeah.
And then when he had enough, one day he was just like, you know what, Watto, I haven't got any more work for you. And I was like,
classic.
You can't do that. Like, I'm the apprentice. And he's like, actually, I never sent your papers away. So
yeah, it's full of such dodgy shit, man. When my first job, I was working with my cousin, and I was doing like landscaping. So basically, just labouring, like putting concrete and helping him build retaining walls and driveways and shit.
Mixing mud,
and it was the fucking same thing, man.
Yeah,
like we were doing work for this guy who basically at one point was just like, yeah, no, there's no more work for you, and then never paid the invoices. Never paid the. Wow. So did all this work, and like my cousin got ripped off for more than me, but still, I was like, this is my first job, and this is my entrance into fucking the working world.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, so many dodgy cunts, like.
Oh, 100%. And then, so that was a year later after year 10, so year 11, all my mates had gone up to year 11, and I like looked into it, I'm like, can I come back to school? Like, fuck this guy's fucked me over. They're like, yeah, but you got to go back to year 10. And I was like, true. I'm not doing that. All my mates are in year 11. I'm like, fuck. All right, I'll find another job. And I was just looking through the local Gazette, which is like the local paper, and they had positions available, and there was a plastering apprentice looking for one. And I rang the bloke up, which was this old fella called Kenny Craig.
Kenny Craig.
Yeah. And
You could make a fucking brand out of that,
Isn't
couldn't
it
you?
like Jenny Craig, but Kenny Craig?
Ken
That's
Craig.
amazing.
I was actually talking to someone recently about Jenny Craig. I was like, what happened to them? I never see them anymore, but I saw the one store they've got on fucking Main North Road.
I think they just aged it. Well, not aged out, but I think they just like
They're
anytime
not,
fitness.
they're not
overload.
going hard on their branding, bro. That's their problem.
No, that's right. Yeah, they need a marketing.
They used to go
program.
hell hard, didn't they?
Oh, dude, it was everywhere.
Jenny
That
Craig
and
went
Weight
everywhere.
Watchers, man, was fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was in the time of the magazine as well.
Yeah.
So, you remember all the ads were on the magazine, and that was probably cheaper than TV and so on. And
Yeah.
I guess maybe they didn't have the marketing budget like
Yeah.
other people have.
Yeah.
It was so ingrained that it was like, it used to be like, oh, she's on the Jenny meth diet.
the Jenny, yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
on the fucking Jenny meth.
The Jenny pipe diet.
The
yeah.
Jenny pipe. Fuck, we just keep like segueing into drugs.
Segueing, yeah. That's all right. That's all right.
So yeah, you've run up, you've got Kenny Craig on the phone.
Yeah, I got Kenny Craig on the phone, said, look, I've done a year with this bloke, and then he just let me go. And he's like, oh, that's not good. And he gave me a job. So fast forward 4 years, finished my apprenticeship. I'm 20. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I fucking hate this job. I don't really want to do it. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't even really want to leave school. I always, like, the only thing that I excelled in high school was like PE and drama. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be a fucking drama teacher.
Yeah, cool.
This would be cool. And when I didn't want to go back to doing my trade, I was like, well, I don't want to stay in the country town because all you do there is do your trade, marry a high school girlfriend, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Country
that's
life.
all life is.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted. Like,
You went to more.
yeah, I wanted to achieve more. I wanted to see fucking
Yeah.
Australia. I wanted to fucking do this and that.
So how did you end up here then, mate?
So my older sister's over here.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So separate dads, same mum.
Mum's here too.
I don't see her, so
Okay.
not part of the family.
Yep.
But the older sister's over here, and I rang her up and I said, look, I don't want to do my trade. I don't know what I want to do. She said, why don't you come over here? And I was like, oh, okay. So I came over here and then went back to a high school, senior college, did my high school diploma, and then
Oh,
applied
dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, cool.
applied for an acting degree at AC Arts.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. So you really pursued that drama teacher.
Well, that's what I really wanted to do. But when I got accepted for this diploma, I couldn't afford to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't working. I was here by myself. Like, I had no idea what I was going to do. I think I was fucking on the rock and roll back then. The doll.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I can't afford to pay for this. What am I going to do? And I ended up getting a job at Woolshed on Hindley, which
Yeah,
was the
nice.
start of my hospitality career.
Yeah.
And then from working there, I was earning like, 26, 27 bucks an hour, which was
Wow.
essentially what I was earning doing my trade back in the
Yeah.
day as a tradesman. I was like, fuck, this is all right. And I don't have to pay any tax. Like, it's all taken out. It's all sorted for me.
Yeah, less fuckery.
And I was like, this is sick. Like, and you get a free beer when you finish work. Like,
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah.
this is awesome. So I went down that way of working in pubs for a bit. And then it was like, I think 4 years later, or 3 or 4 years later, I was working at the Colonel Light Hotel, and I was working with this big fella called Jake. And he liked being creative, had a background in IT and so on. And we'd always talk about like our love of beer and all that. And out of that spawned this idea to make a YouTube channel.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So we made this show called Man versus Beer, because back then Man versus Wild, Man versus Food.
Yeah.
It was all Man versus. This is 2009, 2010.
Yep.
And so we kicked that off and we did half-hour long episodes. And so it was essentially what you guys are doing now. It was that. But our whole concept was that we'd do booze news, booze reviews, beer challenges, and
Yeah,
more.
that's cool, man. That's cool.
For our booze review, we would drink a carton of beer every episode
Oh, wow.
and then give the review at the end of the episode. So we'd be absolutely shit-faced.
Yeah, no shit.
And
Video as well?
yeah, video.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's actually still on YouTube. Man
Okay.
versus Beer.
I'm going. I didn't actually
Yeah,
know about that.
I'll
I'm
check
going
it
to check
out,
that out
yeah.
for sure.
So we had it on there, and we got picked up by Channel 44. So our first season was screened on Channel 44, which was cool. And then when it came time to start the next season, I moved on to another pub. Jake wanted out of hospitality, and we just didn't have time to really start doing it again.
Yeah.
We've tried to go back a couple of times, but it's just our schedules just don't click where we have the opportunity to film and so on.
Yeah, and considering it's something that you need to be there together drinking the beer, it's not like you do it over Zoom or anything like that.
Yeah. And so it just became too hard. So we sort of put that off, and I was like, fuck, I need this creative outlet. Like, what am I going to do? And from a young age, I loved stand-up comedy, and I was like, I did some research and found out there was an open mic in Adelaide, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And that's when, I started doing comedy. I think it was 2015. I think.
Okay, so coming on 10 years in the next couple of years then.
And
I think it was around then.
so comedy's obviously how we met, but it's interesting that we didn't meet at your job at Colonel Light, because I spent a fucking ridiculous amount of time there. And I definitely, I know that I saw you many, many times. It was just like, again, you were the worker. You were the person telling us off for doing things. So, you know, it wasn't exactly the vibe of like, let's hang out.
Let's hang out. That balcony for me was just all-time legendary status. Like, oh man, the amount of memories from that Black Market balcony.
And look, the thing was as well, it was like, genuinely felt dangerous up there. The floor was like bowing.
Tilting.
It was because water would just pour. Every time it rained, like it would get so waterlogged. It was so
and it
fucking
would be slippery.
Yeah. The checkered floor on that upstairs bar as
was slippery as shit too.
The amount of girls that I saw, like they would get horizontal. They would slip, and they would like slip at such velocity that they would end up like horizontal before they hit the ground. And
you saw a few baby giraffes, didn't you?
Man.
You saw a few baby giraffes.
Yeah, it was great to see. You know,
it was.
Dude, I was there. I was there for a good while.
Did you work at Colonel Light Hotel, or did you work for Black Market?
No, Colonel Light.
Yeah,
I was a duty manager, and then when they were in talks with the Black Market crew to come over from, they were at
Shots, I think it was originally.
No, producers, wasn't it?
Producers went to Psych, and then it went to the Underground, which was over the road.
Yes, of course, yeah. Night Train.
And then that was shutting down or something, and they wanted a new place, and they came over and spoke to the owner and so on. And I was a duty manager, and I liked that type of music and was into that sort of stuff. And the bloke that was the big boss was like, well, do you want to run the nights? And I was like, okay. So I essentially took over as operations manager, running the operations of the hotel on those nights.
Yeah.
And that was great, but I was 24, 25 years old. And it was like, it was a big responsibility because, the whole capacity of the venue was 650 people. And, we had 350 people upstairs. Downstairs, there was 150 plus, you had 250 at the back or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And it was packed out most nights that I went.
Lineups down the road,
dope.
Just crazy. And capacity where, you're struggling to walk through people.
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye on intoxicated patrons, all that type of shit. I'm finding people throwing glasses off the balcony and throwing them out. There's fights, all that type of business. And it was a crazy time. And after I think I did it for 2 years running every night there, and then on the odd occasion I'd get a night off on a Friday, and I'd always end up back there because that was that was the fun.
We've said a few times now, talking about Black Market specifically, about how special that really was, because for heavy music in general, it's not like, HQ where we got Red Square HQ, Dog and Duck, where you got all the EDM and stuff like that. There was no representation for heavy music, really. Apart from obviously the Underground, Black Market and Enigma Bar were really the only other two that kind of really fucked with it too heavy. So like everyone that was into heavy music would go there, and it was always just like-minded people. And I found obviously you still had your fights and stuff like that, but compared to HQ, the mean mugging was minimal, like minimal. And because you were always there with all your friends, and it was just like that balcony made it so special because you go there, have a dart, hang out or whatever. But we were just saying like these days, there's not really anything of like comparable anymore.
Not for heavy music.
Not for heavy music.
Well, it was so. We talked about this after the show on that we caught up on at Cranker, but like it was not only were we getting, it was an opportunity for local bands to be able to play every few months. That sometimes every few weeks when they were like putting the massive shows on and they still needed a few more supports. Some of our local bands were getting 5-6 gigs a year, which is crazy. And then we were getting like international and national touring bands.
Oh yeah, dude! I remember
week in, week out.
Hawthorne Heights came over and played.
Yeah,
and that was like one of the biggest nights, and I think we had capacity issues, right? So it ended up being really hard there because licensing got involved, and they were like, "You're over capacity," and I would be walking around doing head counts on the radio, talking to fucking security, making sure that we weren't over capacity. And we were never actually over capacity, but they'd go up and they'd look at the license and they would be like, all right, well, the license states upstairs you're allowed to have 350 people, but it's not in a designated area. It can, there can be 200 people on that balcony and 100 people, 150 people inside. Yeah. Like it didn't designate. Yeah. And they got pissed off about that. They're like, no, this can't be right. And so it was middle of that show, I think just before they were going to go on or something. And we had to get 100 people from upstairs downstairs that had paid their money to be there for that show, to see that band, and they had to like go downstairs and not be able to see that band.
Oh, that's fucked.
Fucked off the owners of the hotel, the owners of the black market business and so on. It really fucked that up. And that was licensing just being like, oh no, we're the fun police. Like these guys have got this thing that's fucking cranking and everyone's having a good time. Oh, no, there must be something dodgy going on there. Or something. So, they end up fucking it up and changing the license conditions for upstairs and all that type of stuff.
Which is when, it got so frustrating because it was so hard to get upstairs after that.
Yeah. And, I was there then. And I think after dealing with licensing so many times, I was just like, no, I've had enough. Like, I can't deal with these idiots every fucking week. So I end up, bailing and heading to another pub and working there. And then, worked around at a few other different venues and then finished my time. I ended up finishing like last year, I think it was, at the Hallingau, which is
such a cool little venue, man. I've never actually been to a show there because I know they've got the little room upstairs or whatever that they do a lot of comedy shows and like I think even other like random performances and stuff as well there.
Part of the Hallingau next door was the Urban Couch Studio, which was all local South Australian art and so on.
Yep.
And then they had a gallery space upstairs, which they would put on exhibitions and so on. Unfortunately, that business has folded now, and they're no longer having that there. But they still have, the ability to open it somewhere else or something, I believe. So now it's been turned into like another venue. So they actually have comedy shows downstairs and upstairs, I think, during Fringe, and some other stuff there. I no longer work there. I'm back doing the trade, but I still am really close with the owners, and those guys are absolutely amazing. And if you get an opportunity to go in there, 250 different gins from all around the world and Australia, fucking Australian craft beer. Like you can't go wrong. That place is shit hot, but unfortunately it's sort of tucked away and a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah, I've never heard of this place.
You know where the Elephant is? We've been to the Elephant before. Literally directly across from the Elephant, like so where the outdoor little smokers area of Elephant is, straight across.
Okay, cool.
So it's on that other little corner.
Yeah, no shit.
But that was the thing as well. Like, now with Elephant changing, because I've always loved the Elephant. I did a show with Big Owl up there. They let me basically have the whole top like room for nothing.
Oh, they're sick.
And that was when it was the old, like, cause then I met like Liam Carter and that, who was like the guy from Fresh FM that runs our podcast network as well. So yeah, he got me in contact with the people that were running it at the time, and they let me have free reign. Invited me back the next year, but I was doing a full Fringe show that year, so I didn't do it. But that little, again, just another great venue that now is kind of like not so well known, and so it's not getting the business or whatever that it once did.
That has been bought by another company, and they're renovating and doing it up at the moment. It's about to relaunch again.
That'll be
which
awesome.
is really cool. Liam and Big Al, I have done guest spots on their podcast.
Yes,
the
me
Bagcast,
too. Yes, Bagcast.
which was really fun. I remember there was an episode for like, I don't know if it was their 500th episode or something, and they did this like pub crawl type thing.
Yep.
That's cool.
And it was, and they like filmed it, or not filmed it, they recorded it or something. And I was a guest, and I met up with them at one of the pubs and waited for them. And I was on work cover at the time because I'd stacked and broken my wrist. And I was on fucking like pain medication. And it was the first time I decided to have a couple of beers.
Yeah.
Got fucking blotto. Like, I don't remember being part of the episode. I don't remember talking to them at the pub.
How did it turn out then?
I have no idea. I don't think I've listened to it. So.
Just too scared.
Yeah,
too scared.
Casey said some wild shit.
He doesn't even want to
100%.
know the fucking. Doesn't want to be responsible for what was said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you see that they, speaking of the elephant as well, they went there and did that, that you know how the elephant was doing like a hot challenge there for a few months before they closed down with the last owners?
With the wings? Or?
No, so there was 3. I know 2 of them. The one that they did was a curry, like a butter chicken or chicken masala or something that was stupid hot.
It would have been a vindaloo.
And they did it like as they were recording the podcast and like didn't have a great time. But the one they did afterwards, which was amazing, was it was a Carolina Reaper burger and then chili cheese fries with Carolina Reaper like throughout the thing. And so we went there for a work lunch. It was Christmas time, and my boss always went on about how much he loved spicy food, kept bringing hot sauces into work, making us try it. One time, like, I must have tried it on my, like, pinky, then forgot about it, then, like, rubbed my ear, and, like, an hour later, I'm like, oh, that's still burning. And they're like, did you touch your fucking ear, you dickhead? I'm like, oh. And then, so, as soon as we got there for lunch, I was like, you need to do the challenge, mister. I love fucking spicy food. He's like, nah, not at lunch. We got to go back to work for 4 hours. And I just turned the peer pressure gauge up to a fucking 11.
Yeah.
Eventually conned him into doing it. And the leaderboard at the time had like 3 people on it. And I said, how many people have tried it? And they're like, oh, at least 25, 30. Only 3 people had actually finished it. And the top performer at the time was a girl who'd finished it in 12 minutes. And I was like, yeah, dude, you should smash this easy. Well, he fucking destroyed it, didn't he?
Yeah?
7 minutes he finished this burger and this thing.
Was this Big Al or?
No, this is my boss.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, and he was like, sweat was pouring off of him, but he demolished this thing. I tried one little bit of mince off the chili cheese fries and I was like, holy fuck, dude. Like, how did you eat that whole thing?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, got it down. They put him up on the leaderboard. He goes outside to like have a smoke or something. And then I'm at the bar getting another beer and I just hear him like, oh, Justin. And I'm like, turn around and he's fucking chundered all over the floor out the back of that little smokers area. And I was like, it still counts, right? Like I'm saying this to the thing. And they're like, yeah, he kept that down long enough. We'll keep him up on the leaderboard.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
And then yeah, like we like laughed about it for a while. Then like a month later, they rang him and they're like, "Yeah, no one knocked off that time, mate. Come get your prize." And he got like a wood grain Cooper's Esky, like with like tub lined and whatever, and a carton of beer for
that's sick.
for finishing it. I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's a fucking." I'm like, see, when we went and picked it up, I'm like, "Aren't you glad I fucking peer pressured you, dickhead?"
Hey.
But he was in a bad way for the rest of that.
Oh,
afternoon.
yeah,
we went
he
back to
would be.
work. Like he was sitting at his desk, just like.
Doing fuck all.
Like just then I was like,
Yeah.
sorry, bro.
When
Fucking
we
hell.
were making Man versus Beer, one of the beer challenge or booze challenges that we did was we went and did the chili shot challenge at the Austral. So I don't know if you remember that. They used to
I've definitely heard of it.
They used to have this like chili sauce and they'd make an emulsifier and they'd mix it with vodka and you do a shot.
Dope.
And you had to like sign a waiver and you got given a glass of milk. Like that was the thing. And we heard about that and we were like, oh, this is going to be sick. Like we'll film it. We'll like call out to like all our crew, get some people there. This will be a fun little thing. So we organized it and we rocked up early. We filmed the day before. We got the chef to show us how he made it. And we got him to like, make it a bit fancy. So he was like boiling down chilies and doing this and
cool,
adding this
cool.
chili essence shit.
Some theatrics.
Yeah, exactly. And then they left it up on the shelf. The next day we came in to film and we had to sign the waivers. And then the guy who was the manager at the time like poured the 2 shots and they were black, man. Like,
No shit.
It was not fucking red. It was black. And I was like, this is not going to be good. Like, I like chili, but I'm not a fucking mega chili man. And it was me and Jake. And Jake's 7 foot tall, big fucking giant dude, loves beer, fucking just an awesome guy. And we had it. And then we're like sitting there. And before he had his, like, I went and got his shot glass and got this like chili essence stuff and like rimmed his shot glass.
Oh,
and
made it even hotter.
Yeah, and rimmed his milk glass as well. So like it was a bit of a stitch up and like I filmed myself doing it and then we added it into the episode to make it funnier. Little did I know that the manager of the Austral did that to my glass of milk as well.
Oh.
And so I like didn't drink any of the milk and then had like a little bit. And Jake was like, had his shot. He was like sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. Like, actually, it's not bad at all. And then he has some of his milk and then he's like, oh, actually, it comes back. And so that got him really bad. And then he started vomiting into a bucket.
Oh, true.
And then I like couldn't vomit because I didn't eat anything all day and it just like stuck to my guts.
Yeah.
And I was on the ground in like tears. I was in so much pain.
Yeah, full chili stomach.
It was not good. It came out in my piss. Like I went and had a piss and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my God, what is going on? Then I went home and I passed out and I like slept for like 8 hours and I woke up, drank water and my taste buds thought it was cordial. Like I'd burnt my taste buds. Everything was fucked.
Real.
Fast
From one
forward,
shot.
Yeah. Fast forward like
Wow.
3 or 4 years later, I ended up working at the Austral with all the managers that did that and stitched that up. And they're like, oh yeah. So instead of like that chili stuff, I sat there for 15 minutes with the chili essence, just putting it in the bottle. So it was even hotter than what you thought it was going to be.
shit.
I was like, oh, fuck you. I'm like,
fuck?
and he's like, we still have that bottle, but we don't let anyone ever fucking try it.
Oh, true.
Like, dude, you could have killed me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I could have
Proper
died.
fucking
Literally
Yeah,
like
man.
ripped my fucking stomach in half.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shots, boys, should we have a break and have a few more beverages?
I think we absolutely we haven't had a break on the pod for a while, but
I reckon the last time we had a break would have been below episode 10.
yeah, before
Before video. Well before video.
Well, let's come back a little bit sideways,
Let's do it.
shall
When we
we?
get back, I want to talk a little bit more about your comedy.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
And then we'll get into
then
the questions.
Questions, and also want to talk about what music you're into.
Yeah.
So-
See? No worries.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
Chestnuts.
One of those working chestnuts, and we are back.
We're back.
We're back from break. Now
Back with Zach.
talk us through what we've got here.
There's
my
an
man.
orange peel in this, my man.
There is. So I expressed the orange over the top. So you got the oils around the glass, rimmed the glass and dropped it in. It's just a whiskey old fashioned. So bourbon whiskey. Normally you'll use like some sugar syrup or some brown sugar. Mix that down with a little bit of bitters, and then just stir it over ice. Express some orange over the top, and you're good to go.
I've never had either of these two.
Nah,
things,
neither have I.
I'm fucking, and now I'm more educated and cultured. I'm gonna go into a bar one time and be like,
Whiskey
I
sour
get a
is tough.
fucking whiskey sour.
Whiskey sour's tough, yeah.
Is there like, is it something that most places like that have a man, obviously not of your talent, but like of moderate talent, I should be able to go fucking whiskey sour
Well,
and they're
whiskey
able to make it?
sour and old fashioned, they're classics. So
Yeah.
they're classic cocktails, which everyone as a bartender
Should know how to do it.
should know how to do.
I'm gonna be so cultured. No more West Ends and fucking things for me. I'm going in. I'll have a whiskey sour, thanks.
Well, like I had a cocktail at that Erado Teppanyaki place that was like almost like, it felt like it was almost milky in a certain way. It was like pineapple and Malibu.
Pina colada.
No, it wasn't a pina colada though. It was something else. I can't remember what it was called. If I remember, I'll fucking blurt it out. But like,
Yeah.
it was almost like a trifle, but it was alcohol. It was,
Right, okay.
Like it wasn't thick at all, but it tasted like what a trifle tastes like, but with a bit of pineapple and like an alcohol.
Was it a splice?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it might have had splice in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Sounds
might have
very
had
The old
splicey.
splice used to be, was it Malibu, Maduri, and like pineapple juice.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe it was
A little bit of pineapple
That's my
cream.
missus' favourite. She
little
loves
bit
a
of,
fucking splice.
coconut cream.
Oh yeah, it had coconut water in it as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
coconut cream
Maybe
will
it
be-
was a fucking
Got
splice.
a bit of spicy action.
Japanese splice. It was fucking dope. Like, we
Yeah.
were sitting there going like, we need more of these motherfuckers. Like, yeah.
I'm a big margarita man. I love a fucking marg. I love tequila. I've always loved tequila.
I never was the biggest tequila fan, but I've started to drink a bit of it. Yeah. I do like it.
I've been wanting to because I've never splashed out on I've bought some really nice bottles of bourbon and stuff before, but I've never gone and got like a really nice bottle of tequila, and that's something I want to do. I want to know what fucking high end tequila.
Get one with the worm or a scorpion in it.
Yeah, I've had, but even those ones aren't like.
No, you can get some high end.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to get like a fucking proper $300-$400 bottle of tequila and see what that shit tastes like, man.
Yeah. The better the tequila, the more mellow it is.
Yeah.
So,
I like the taste. Like I actually enjoy the taste of it. Like it doesn't, doing shots of tequila doesn't make me wince at all. Whereas like even a shot of vodka or whatever, I don't know.
What about gin? Are you into gin?
Yeah.
I'm getting into gin now, man.
My sister made her own gin for Father's Day.
Yeah.
For my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she made it. She infused it with chili because she works at a winery and they make wine and gin.
Cool.
Called Applewood, I think it is.
Yeah.
And like she made this gin and like actually put like jalapenos and shit in it, and it's spicy. It's like a spicy gin, man.
Yeah, dude.
It's killer.
So at the Howling Owl, they're a gin bar. So it was my job to know everything about all their gins. So I had to know, the distilling process and all that type of stuff.
So they distilled their own stuff?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know people that make their own gin, so I would learn off them and so on. And it was our job to know all the different botanicals in the gins. So a lot of New World gins, which are the ones that come from South Australia, that have all the different botanicals in them that you can taste, which is really cool. And the whole thing with the South Australian gins and why they're so good is because the neutral spirit that they start with is made out of grapes. Whereas, all the gin that comes from the UK and comes from America and all that, that's all grain base.
Interesting. Didn't
which
know
is
that.
Generally a bit more spicier and so on.
Okay.
Okay. But the grape-based stuff, it blends well with a lot of fruit and different flavors like that.
Well, one of the things that she said she put in there one time was ants.
Green ants.
Yeah.
So
literal fucking ants.
Yeah, so Adelaide Hills Distillery, 78 Degrees, they did a collaboration with Something Wild, which is this cool little store at the Central Markets.
Oh, cool.
And the family that owns that, they're Indigenous, and they're the only family that are actually allowed to forage for those green ants.
True. Okay.
Because I don't know if they're endangered or whatnot.
Yeah.
But they actually distilled the gin using a lot of coriander and lime because they're the flavors that you actually get from the green ants. And then someone actually dropped a couple of green ants into the bottle. So we would buy green ant little tubs like that and garnish the gin and tonics with the ants.
Oh, that's sick. So you actually put the
And I remember there was it was one Fringe, and there was a comedian's girlfriend was there, and she was vegan. And so at the Howling Hour, they have 2-for-1 gins at 7:30 every night or something. And the gin of the week was the Green Ant gin. And so it gets that busy that you've just got trays and you're just pumping them out because people are just coming up like, I'll take 4.
Yeah.
And so you're pumping them out. You're just putting the green ants in them and so on. And I remember this girl, she got her gin. She's like, I'll just get the 2-for-1. Got the gins, and then comes back. She's like, look, guys, I don't mean to be a bit weird, but there's ants in my gin.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, dude. There's meant to be.
Green ant gin, bro. That's epic.
I just recently had a bottle of the Big Shed gin that they did with their boozy fruit.
Okay,
and
cool.
that was fucking good. That was one of my favorites. Like, I love the beard, like boozy fruit. I'm a big Shed fucking fanboy. I love a lot of what they
So for Man vs. Beer, we filmed live at this craft beer festival at the Highway.
Yeah.
So craft beer was only just starting to take off, and Big Shed wasn't even a brand yet.
Okay.
So one of the guys actually worked at the Highway because they had a big craft beer sort of thing, and he was starting to make his own beer and all that. And he was like, "Oh, can I do a little interview with you guys?" We're like, "Yeah, dude." His name was Craig, I think. And he was like, yeah, I'm starting my own brewery called Big Shed. And we're like, oh, sick, man. That's awesome.
That's
And
cool.
he's like, yeah, we're going to do we've got all these cool ideas. We're like, yeah, no worries. And it's been really cool to watch how that brand's blossomed over time. And, you know, they're doing all their really cool stuff.
Where are they based now?
So they're at Stepney. I think they're in Stepney, yeah.
I have no idea.
But yeah, they do the brew chocks, so like the fruit choc, like the collaboration with Men's, which they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
They just did this one that was like hugely popular, like a golden stout time it was called. So it was like a golden daytime stout that just went crazy.
I wonder how they get these flavors, man.
Dude, it's insane.
A lot of beers, a lot of people that brew beer, they get the flavor from the hops and all that.
Yeah.
I think Big Shed have derived a thing with like scientific people where they can go up to them and go, we want something to taste like this, and they'll like put together like a syrup or find something. Okay, here's this. Add that to your beer.
Add it in there.
And so
Interesting. No shit.
So it doesn't come from the hops and that.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not shitting on that company or anything.
That's still.
But I just think it's an interesting.
If it tastes dope, it tastes dope.
Yeah. So
That's cool. That's cool.
And so you've obviously taken a step away from the bar world and you've gone back into trade life. How was that? That would have been a pretty big adjustment, obviously, doing night work for so long and kind of like, you know, hospitality is just so crazy, go, and then transitioning back into the trade stuff. How did you go with that? How did you handle it?
It was sick. Like I got to the point where I just was over it. Like after like 15
years is a fucking big stint, man.
It was time to find something else to get out of it. But I just had no idea what I was going to do. Like I loved beer. I wanted the idea of, you know, becoming a brand ambassador or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't put enough work into trying to find something like that.
Yeah. And it takes time to do something like that too.
Yeah, for sure. And it was only lucky, like I moved in with a good mate of mine and his brother's a builder. And over the Christmas break or something, I had a friend whose kitchen needed to be plastered. So I went there and I was helping him out and just fixing up his kitchen for him. And I came home and I'm covered in fucking plaster and all that. And my housemate's brother was there and he's like, what have you been doing? I said, oh, plastering my mate's kitchen. So do you know how to do that? I said, yeah. And he's like, how? I'm like, oh, I did a trade when I was younger. And he was like, oh, really? I might need a guy. Like, you know, give me your phone number. He rang me like 2 days later. It was like 2 days before Christmas. It was like, I need you for the next 2 days.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. So I did the next 2 days plastering a pub out in Port Adelaide and was just like, okay, well, those 2 days are done. I'll just go back to bar work or whatever. Maybe something else will come up. After the new year, I got a phone call saying, hey, can you come back and give me a hand? Went back, met the big builder, and he was like, yep, cool. And I ended up plastering the whole like pub and doing it all myself.
Yeah, no shit. How long did that
for
take?
the next like 2.5 months.
Yeah, wow.
Of just day in, day out.
Which pub was that they've redone?
That was the Peninsula.
Okay, yep.
So in Taparoo.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up doing that, and then from there it just sort of escalated, and every job that this builder got, he would give me a call and I could go do that. And then my housemate's brother would call me, be like, oh, I've got this little job. And then, you know, his mates were different tradies and they'd be like, oh, you don't know a flusher, do you? And then I'd get a phone call and I'd go do that.
Yeah, okay,
so it just kind of, snowballed from
Word
there.
of mouth, mate. It's the most powerful
So
way.
are you kind of like subbying then? You're not working just under one thing. You're just like basically subbying out yourself so that you can have a bit of a break in between.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome, man.
So I can, go and do a job and then take some time off and so on.
And that's what you didn't. That's the big thing that you don't get in hospitality.
No,
It's
I
every
never had a
weekend.
holiday. I mean, it was good when I was working in bigger pubs and so on. You'd be put onto a full-time basis and you would get that annual leave and so on, which you were told to use up and that, which was good. But then when you start to manage small family-owned bars and so on, you don't get put onto a full-time basis there.
No.
Like it's much harder and you don't get time off. You've got to work every fucking weekend and that. And that's what I've loved from going back to my trade is, the transition from going from working nights to working, 7 till 4 p.m. and then going home, sleep, like having a couple of beers, eating dinner, going straight to bed, getting up, going and doing it again, but then knowing that you've got fucking Saturday, Sunday off.
Yeah.
It's like, this is sick, actually.
Has it been better for your like lifestyle and stuff as well
100%.
in terms of being surrounded by that, hospitality life and,
for
knock
sure,
off
man.
drinks and
Yeah.
all of that kind of shit. Whereas like now, I mean, you, as you said before, you might go get the wild turkey can on the way home, but then you go have a feed and you're so dead from the work that you just
Exactly.
end up passing out. So that you kind of felt like you've been taking better care of yourself since you switched as well.
Definitely. There was times working in the bars where, to get through the shift, I'd be drinking.
Yeah.
Like it got to that point where
No
I
shit.
hated it. Like I didn't want to be there. And it was my job to, talk to customers. And I was just like, I don't want to talk to customers. And it just, it got so hard. And I was just so lucky that the people that I worked for still gave me the opportunity to be there and didn't just go, oh, this guy doesn't want to be here. See you later. These guys really gave me the opportunity to continue going. And they'd sit down and be like, so what's going on? And I'd be like, yeah, no, you're right. I need to fucking pull my head in and so on. But when the opportunity came to move on, they were so great. They were like, you can come back anytime. If
Yeah,
you need
that's good,
work
man.
on weekends, just do it. And now, like to this day, like I call them once a week just to see how they're going.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
Oh, if has someone punched a hole in a wall, I'll come fix it for you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool that you've got
very
that
lucky.
relationship with them.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
Because it'll definitely come full circle. There'll come a time where you're like, you know what? I just want to do a couple of weekends through Fringe or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. Like,
Oh, it has.
where you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back and then really enjoy it because you get the best of like the best of what it was doing it. Because obviously there's a reason you did it for so long, right? There was obviously good times throughout
Yeah.
that, but it just gets so overbearing. And so when you don't get that time to yourself and that break and whatever. So to go back and be like, yeah, I'm going to do these 3 weekends or whatever and have the fucking time of your life because you love making drinks as we fucking,
Yeah.
and doing that kind of stuff, but it's just not sustainable as a job for the rest of your fucking life.
No,
man. Like,
yeah.
it's just not.
And it's as you get older as well. Like, I mean, from the age of 20 to, 35, like I'm pumping out drinks. you know? And I loved it. Like for the first fucking 10 to 12 years, it was the best time of my life. Like,
How many drinks do you reckon you made in your life?
Oh, fucking no idea. No idea.
Give it a stab. Give it a
I
number.
could not.
Yeah?
I
Yeah.
could not.
Really?
Like,
Probably a meal.
Meal?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I could not.
Million
Even think about
drinks.
it. There was times where
Fucking hell.
you're pumping out, vodka raspberries, and
Yeah.
you're just like, holding the bottle, and it's just like boom, 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 boom. There you go. That's fucking $150. Yep, cool. It's that busy. And I've
that's-
worked in a lot of busy venues.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool, man. Well, the fact that these people have gone like, hey, if you want to come back, and like he just said, then with if you wanted to put on a Fringe show, you'd work Monday to Friday doing shows, and then on the weekend you're like, oh, you know what? Now I just feel like going and doing a few extra shifts. That's heaps cool. That's heaps cool.
the first, 2020 was it 2021? 2021, I did a split bill in Gluttony called Who Killed Santa with
Clay and Jane.
Clay and Gene. And I was doing my trade then, so I was working every day.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
And then doing my show at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
And so that was hard. But I was like, I'm still new back to the trade. I've got to impress the builders. I've got to fucking make the effort to get it done. And so that was hard. And then from there, that's when I took a break.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I can't do comedy while I'm trying to get this up and rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took a year break.
Yeah,
from comedy.
so let's dig a bit deeper into the comedy. So you're saying you've been doing it for 8 or so years now.
For a little while.
Yeah. So what really kind of kicked that off for you? What really inspired you to go like, all right, you know what? I want to try and make something of this. Is it the pure passion for making people laugh, or?
I think it's the pure passion for I do actually like people.
Yeah.
I like to make people laugh. I like to have people over to my house and cook for them. I just like to make people happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I loved with hospitality as well. Like the aspect of, people are there and they're having a good time and, all that. With the hospitality industry, you don't get the rewards of doing a comedy show and so on. Whereas, you know, you make someone a good drink, they forget about it. You do a good show, people hang around afterwards, buy you a beer, and
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
that was great.
And they come back to you next one too.
Yeah.
Hey, I even bombed fucking and someone bought me a beer. Some bloke was like,
Oh,
nah, you're all right, mate.
that was fucking
you're
sympathy.
young. You're young, keep at it. So I got bought a beer for fucking bombing on Friday night.
You've been doing comedy for fucking X amount of years,
10 years, dude.
and you got the "you're young, keep at it" son.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, dude, I'm old as shit. Dude. Didn't you hear me? Clearly you weren't listening. Half my jokes were about being old. But you're right, man. Like it is. I love that feeling of like, you know, just feeling like you gave someone a good time, man. It's so good.
Yeah.
That sounds bad. Fucking
You
gobbies in the gobbies in the alleyway. But
He doesn't just shake cocktails, mate. He fucking
Shakes dick.
yeah, fucking screaming eagles and fucking down the side of the cranker. No, but you're absolutely right, and I'm the same. Like this, and we talked about this on the podcast so many times. But it's why the pod's amazing as well, is because it's more like controlled versions of that. You know, like we can decide what gets put out there or whatever. Like, you know, the audience is whatever it becomes. Like, you know, obviously, as I found out Friday night, sometimes you can't always fucking pick your battles when it comes to comedy.
Yeah.
But that feeling that we get from this, and the same thing I get from comedy, is just someone being like, dude, that was fucking awesome. I had a great time.
Awesome.
Fucking love that. That's my favorite thing in the world, man. Because, like, you know, the world's fucking crazy, and being able to do anything that can give someone a good feeling, release some fucking endorphins for them, man, I'm here for it. So I'm sure you're much the same.
100%. But after having a year off, I'm enjoying the writing process again.
Yeah.
Like, I guess maybe I was burnt out because it got to the point where I was working in bars and I was gigging 3 to 4 times a week. I was helping, sound check at the open mic on Mondays, and then I'd run giggles on Wednesdays and sound, do the sound tech work there.
it's just overstimulation, mate.
And then, but because I was working in bars, I would, have those nights I'd work during the day, then I'd go do that, then I'd get pissed afterwards, then I'd wake up, then I'd go to work at 3 p.m, then I'd work through till 3 a.m. or 2 or 1 in the morning, and then I'd get drunk, and then I'd go home and I'd do the same thing. And it was this constant cycle. And my mental health got really bad at the end of working in bars, because I was just on this constant cycle of Groundhog Day, of doing the same thing.
Where and what in that cycle, where's the inspiration for new material coming from? Because like everything that you could possibly write out of bartending work, you've written it. You know what I mean? Anything inspirational that would have come out of that line of work, you've already done it. It's in your back catalogue.
Exactly.
Where's the next new thing in your life to make you go, hey, this is a fucking thing?
Yeah.
And again, maybe you don't even write jokes about your trade now, but your life's different.
Yes.
So you're seeing different parts of the day, different people around. All of a sudden you are finding new things in your life that are like, I noticed this fucking guy at the server. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's like when you're in that Groundhog Day, it's hard. Like for me, I mean, how much fucking Gawler line material did I have in my early fucking stand-up?
I reckon probably 80% of the issue was, maybe not 80, maybe like 6.
Not 80, but
maybe 60. I'd say 60.
I had a big chunk of shit that was just about fucking the Gawler line, because it was all I saw. And it was like the only place that my workplace didn't have anyone. They were all fucking boring as shit. The only characters or anything that I got to see was on the fucking train. And for I didn't have a missus or anything for the first chunk of my stand-up. So I was like, I didn't have the missus, the kid or whatever. So it was like, that was it. That was all I fucking had. I had nothing else interesting really to talk about. And I was also wasn't being self-reflective enough about, hey, you've got fucking cool, funny stories or whatever. I was always looking outward. It's that whole thing of that big change up of what's going on will really help the creative process.
It has. I found, I've been able to write a whole brand new fucking, 15 minutes just in the past week and a bit. And,
that's crazy.
It's all building and building and building. And getting back on stage has been really, really fucking good. And I mean, you saw me I took a break, and then my first show back, we were on the same show and you followed me. And I was that nervous before I got on stage. And it was only you came up and spoke to me before I went up, and that pulled me out.
Yeah.
Because I was in my own head just like, fuck, I'm going to be shit. this sucks. Like, do I even want to be here? Do I want to be doing comedy anymore? Fuck. And I'm overthinking like all this type of shit.
Yeah.
And then Justin comes up and is like, oh yeah, man, and fucking this and that. And things are going good. And I was like, yeah.
And sometimes
and
you need that, hey. You just like, because
it
you're
pulled
like,
me out, you know?
because you're like, oh man, like it's been so long, or like, I've never done a stand-up set in my life, but I can imagine just standing there on a stage, everyone completely silent, waiting you to make them laugh, and it's just like, that would be quite hardcore. I think
This was like outside the room, and we're talking that, and then someone didn't rock up or something, and then the guy that runs the show comes up and goes, oh, Zach, you're on next. And I was like, hang on, isn't there like 2 more people? I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm up next. And I had to go and then go straight on.
so. You were rushed as well, like
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then I went up and fucking killed.
Yeah, oh, that's good. Then. At least it was. Yeah,
And it was doing new material, but I also had some older stuff there that I know word for word because I'd done it in Fringe shows and so on.
Yeah.
So I know doing new stuff off the top and then going back into this old stuff that I know works helped sort of build it all at the end, and I got laughs, and it fucking re-solidified the fact that I am a comedian.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
I do know how to do this.
Put that belief back in yourself.
Yeah.
And I need that after Friday night.
Like it'd be interesting to see like in the Sharks gig coming up. Because I just wanted to try to dive more into about like what you actually write about, because I've never seen you before. So what kind of comedy style are you about? Obviously, we'll see it in a couple of weeks, but
get your tickets now if this comes out before next Saturday.
We'll make it come out.
Event
before.
Finder, fucking get on there. Get down to the Salisbury Sharks.
We'll do this weekend. We'll put this this weekend.
Fuck yeah.
So I do a lot of observational stuff, but
cool.
I do very self-deprecating comedy.
Yeah, cool.
So I don't really take the piss out of anyone else. I take the piss out of myself and turn it around to make it funny.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that I'm writing about at the moment is it's a little obscure. There's different stuff. I'm trying to. So when you first start doing comedy in Adelaide, you're only given 5-minute sets.
Yeah.
And the long form of comedy isn't that funny in a 5-minute set. If you're telling a joke that goes for 5 minutes, you need to have beats in there. You need to have punchlines, and so on. You're doing a set, you end up doing 5 jokes that go for a minute, and there's a punchline in all of them. There's a set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline.
And that's how it should be on a 5-minute set. I remember I went to one of the shows he performed at, and there was another dude, I can't remember his name, dude who went up there, and one of the jokes I swear probably spanned like 3/4, if not even more, of his set. And then we were like, oh, the punchline at the end is going to be hilarious. Like it has to be, because he wasn't peppering in little funny bits in between. And then at the end of it, it was one of them jokes where it was just like dumb funny. And we were just like, oh.
Yeah, no payoff.
Payoff for all the line.
4.5 minutes of work for that level of payoff.
And then you compare that to like the prime example of like my favorite of like a storytelling would be Bert Kreischer's Machine story, where it's like, at the end he's got that big kind of reveal, but he's peppering through funny bits in between. So I imagine doing that in a 5-minute set would be quite difficult.
Yeah, it is. Callbacks are almost non-existent in a 5-minute set, because it's like there's not enough time to like take people on a journey so that they can forget what you said. So that when it comes back around, it's
like,
surprising. Whereas doing the longer form sets, which I'm doing through this road show, and I fucked up my set on Friday, but I've actually got a couple of really good callbacks in there. I forgot them at the time. But like but it's just not something that I've ever really had to work on, because most of the time I've been doing 5 or 10, and even 10, it's hard to like really take it, people on a journey. But 15 and 20, you start to be able to work on that skill.
At the time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, 15s, especially going from like doing a lot of 5, 10s and then doing 15 or 20. It feels like 30 minutes to start with. Like it feels like such a longer time up there.
Well, I know like most of the sets that I played when I was like performing back in the day, and like they were only 15, 20-minute sets. But when you're on stage, even like, comedy would probably even more so. But the whole time dilation is all fucking out of whack. You don't know how long you're up there.
Especially when you go on shit, dude. It feels like I thought on Friday night, I'd been up there for 4.5 hours. And I'd done like 8 minutes and fucking bailed out.
Fuck, I'm done with this, man.
I'm so glad I've got a really good fucking bomb story, because I didn't really have one.
You can't be fucking perfect forever.
I remember, I always talk about this. My first ever show that I did, and like I had like 50 people turn up to Old Rhino. Like it was a fucking pandemonium, and I did okay. And everyone's coming up to me afterwards and they're like, oh, yeah, that was all right. And I'm like, why are you saying it like that? They're like, we came here to watch you fucking bomb, not kind of do stand up. Like, that's not what we were here for. We thought this was going to be an absolute fucking shit show. And you got up there and like told jokes. It's not fucking hell, dude. This is like that's shit. We're not boring. We're like, yeah, this is shit. I always like remember. I was like, everyone was always talking about having that big fucking bomb where they just ate shit, and I had not had it until fucking 5 nights ago.
Have you had any?
Have you had a really big bomb?
Yeah, 100%. But I can't remember them because I always get drunk.
You just like
just
forget
drink
it.
them away. See, I've done so many shit gigs where there's been like 2 people there and you're just bombing the whole time. And I say shit gigs, not shit run or anything like that. It's just unfortunately the crowd wasn't there. And it's hard. But sometimes, even those small gigs are not too bad when you can pull the crowd, like those 3 people, you're performing just for them and you've got to give off everything you've got just for them and you pull them in and you get them laughing. Yeah. That's better than fucking, as long as there's that. But I can't remember, I've bombed heaps, like 100%. I Monday just gone, I did 2 new bits and we're talking about long form. And I did one bit which was kind of punchy. It's this bit about sharks that I'm doing at the moment, which is obscure and a bit weird. And the punchline at the end works, which is fun. And then there's this other bit which I've got about fire twirling.
Okay.
And I have this whole bit about I went to a fire twirling festival and there was this guy there called Jax and it's spelled Jaxxx. And I'm like, fuck yeah, this guy can't spell. It's going to be great. And it's describing people and it's describing what's going on. And then he sets himself on fire and it's all that.
Yeah, okay.
And it's going to be a great bit. But at the moment, it doesn't work in a 5-minute.
Yeah, of course. It sounds like something needs a bit of a...
It's going to be great for 15 to 20 minutes. And it's going to, if I do a 15, 20-minute set, I'll have a joke to start with and then I'll do that for 10 to 12 minutes and then I'll close on another joke or whatever. But it's a long form bit.
Yeah.
It's hard to work all that out when you're doing small bits.
Of course,
small
you're
shows.
trying to refine what you got,
Yeah, I always wanted to be that storyteller, that person that tells those long form stories, but haven't been able to do that with the short spots. Luckily, I've done some solo shows where I've gotten to do an hour worth of comedy and been able to tell longer stories.
Yeah, that would be cool. An hour, wow, that's a fuck. Have you done an hour show?
No,
that's a fucking big
half
show.
Half an hour's my longest I've ever done.
That's a big show.
I still don't. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. I still probably only have fucking an hour and a half worth of material total. Like,
really?
I've never.
So, and 40% of it will be about Gore Line.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
I really enjoy the chance of writing a show.
Yeah.
Because you write a show and I honestly think don't do a brand new show every year. Like I did two solo shows in a row. The first one was fucking great. The second one wasn't as good because I didn't have the same amount of time to build material.
Yeah.
And I think I just rushed it, but I wanted to follow up from the year before, which I thought was fantastic. I'd sold out shows and so on. It was a great show. But the concept of writing a show and the aspect of having like ebbs and flows to go through there and having, do 10 minutes off the top of just killer material so you get them up there and then allow it to dip and, really embrace the silences and talk to the crowd and bring the crowd into it and then bring it back up again and then finish really high and being able to do that and build a scene before the show starts. Have a song that really fucking shows who you are or something and then end the show with a song that ties into the show somehow. Building a show like that is fucking cool, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about comedy is the fact that you can tell a story throughout a show and have a meaning at the end. I mean, it sounds weird, but I did a show called The Zatula, which was like my first ever solo show. And I had like 3 years of material, which I'd been working on. And I got it all into this 1 hour show and told this story about, the show, it was called The Zatula. It was all about my being single and my dating experience and all that and where I come from, coming from Druin, you're meant to live that life of dating your high school sweetheart, getting married. I didn't do that. I moved to Adelaide and, my life has changed and all that type of stuff. And then at the end, the whole meaning of the story was, you don't have to conform to those things.
That's cool, man.
Live your life and make your own dreams come true.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing. And to tell that story was just awesome. It made me feel happy. And then afterwards, people would stick around and be like, man, that's such an awesome story. Like I'm 30 years old as well, and all my friends are married and have kids, but I'm just enjoying life. And I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah,
man.
Whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's cool.
That sort of storytelling and being able to do that, that's the best part of it.
Yeah, that's where you want to head.
Yeah.
Dope, man. That's cool.
Well, I think
cool.
it's we're gonna do something outrageous, never been done before on
What's
the fucking
that?
pod. We're gonna have a second break. Because I think we could get.
We're gonna have one more
drunk.
drink, and we're gonna come back, and it's gonna be Gestion City.
Gestion City. I think we're gonna have a shot.
Have a shot.
We're gonna have a shot.
All right,
We're gonna have
a shot.
another drink, and then we're gonna come back for the most fucking hectic Gestions of all time.
All right, let's do it. Wow.
We're back.
We're back.
It's break number 2. We've never done a second break before, but we've got a nice little fucking shot here. The bottle of Maker's Mark is almost done, and we're gonna toast this last little section for the Gestions. Yes, it flicked to the man. Let's go, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Double shot.
Oh boy, howdy! That is pure gasoline. What is it? Fucking Anchorman is like, that is pure gasoline. When it smells smells like a turd covered in burnt hair. So,
All right.
we have a recurring segment on every episode,
We do.
which is a set of predetermined questions that we ask every guest called the Gestions. Now, they've changed a little bit over time.
They'll always change. They'll keep
always
changing.
change.
They'll
But,
keep changing. We've got some
it's-
staples.
It follows a pretty linear line. So, my man, hit him with question number 1.
What is your favorite song of all time?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big
That
one.
is such
Now, we do
a
offer
hard
the footnote
question.
here where it's like we do allow top 3s because most of the
Yeah.
time it's quite hard to put. I know when we originally tried to. Well, it was one of the first few episodes when we even started thinking of these. We actually answered these ourselves.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even fucking figure out one.
Favorite
thing, so
song
one
of
song,
all
so.
time. If I can list 3, I'll list 3.
List three.
Because I can't choose.
Yeah,
just
go on.
one.
Hit us with 3.
3. So in no particular order. The Menzingers, I Don't Want to Be an Arsehole Anymore.
Definitely never had that. 'cause
Never
I don't
had
know
that.
what that is.
I don't even know that song.
They're,
Yeah.
they're a punk band out of the States.
Cool.
Which is very cool. The film clip is Jason, with the hockey mask. He doesn't want to be a killer anymore, so he starts being a barista and he falls in love.
Really?
That's
sick.
And
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude, it is such a good film clip. And the song is it's so cool. That Beasts of Burden by the Rolling Stones.
I don't think we've ever had a Rolling Stones
No, we
favorite
haven't.
song, so that's definitely tick that one off the fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just have I love the Stones and my
Yeah,
dad loves
cool.
the Stones. And
Yeah, they're
I
classic,
was
man.
lucky enough to be able to take him to see the Stones when they came over here.
Yeah.
Fuck
Which was
yeah.
sick. And then it would probably be Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a classic.
So you like the
That's a
older,
Classic.
Yeah,
like that
old
old school
Metalhead,
rock
yeah.
metal.
I like that old stuff. Black Sabbath have been a favorite band of mine. For my 21st birthday, I got to see them with Ronnie James Dio,
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
which was here at Theberton
Yeah, that's sick.
Theatre.
That's
And
sick.
then for my dad's 60th, through working in bars, I had a connection with the Cooper's brewery, and through one of their reps, I managed to score the corporate box and take my dad to
Wow.
Yeah.
see Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath for his
That's
60th.
so
Straight away,
sick,
I'm just
bro.
like, Dio, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm lost in
Was
solo.
Black Sabbath the one with Randy Rhoads on guitar? Or
No,
was that just Ozzy Osbourne?
I think Zach Wilde on guitar,
Ah,
which
okay,
was
yep.
Ozzy Osbourne. Tommy Iommi was the guitarist
Okay.
for Black Sabbath. So yeah, that would. But then I have so many favorite Black Sabbath songs. And I guess it's hard to pick. And I listen to so much different music. Like I grew up and, loved Black Sabbath. And then I became like a skateboarder and surfer. And then it was like, oh, hang on, I love punk rock now.
Yeah.
And I listen to Pennywise and I listen to NoFX and, Blink-182.
Yeah.
And Frenzel and all that.
What's your favorite Blink song?
Eminem.
Okay. Deep cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Carousel.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
sick song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Just
There's so many. And then, from there, it's, I loved all the emo music and it progressed into that. And then I loved, the new, hardcore stuff and all that. And nowadays, I'll listen to anything.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I don't want to, say this is all I listen to. Like, I listen to everything and anything.
Fuck yeah.
Should we slip it in right now?
Well, let's do it. Song of the week.
This is a segment that we have.
This is another segment.
Another segment. A segment inside a segment. Segmentception. From like pod number 10, we tried to have a song of the week every pod. Like we can't like whatever song we've been smashing for the week. And out of 78 episodes, we've maybe done 20 song of the weeks. Like it's been the most like choppy segment of all time. And while you were talking, I was like, oh, yeah, we should do fucking song of the week. So do you have a song this week that you've been absolutely fucking smashing? We gotta look at my Spotify every time.
He needs it every time, yeah.
I was listening to it on the way here. I don't know if you saw me. I pulled out my headphones and I put it onto my Instagram. It is... it's Working for the Weekend. So this is like,
So what's the artist called?
Loverboy.
Loverboy, Working for the Weekend.
Yeah. You would know the song if you heard it.
Interesting. Okay.
It is like 80s, like rock, but not heavy or anything. I think the song was used in Scrubs.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I've got into like 80s rock lately.
Cool.
Cool. Which is really weird listening to like a lot of Motley Crue and all that type of stuff. And working for
so you saw Tommy Lee's dick and you were like, man,
I did not see Tommy Lee's dick, but that was the first porno I ever saw. And it was
that is one of mine. That and A Night in Paris, they're like really
really?
So here's the thing, right? So when we were like 14 or 15, that came out and one of the boys had it on VHS. And I remember there was like 6 of us dudes and we all used to go out like skateboarding and that. And then we were staying back at Jason's house. He had an older brother called Benno, and then Benno had like 2 of his mates over. Jason had me and another mate over, and then we were all like sleeping in this room. There was all bunk beds and that. It was awesome. And then we were watching CKY and like Jackass and all that type of stuff. And then Benno's like, oh, I've got this. I stole it off Adam, which was his older brother or something. And he brings it in, like puts the VHS in, and it was the Tommy Lee Pamela porno. And then it was Night in Paris. And I was like, oh my God, like I'd never seen fucking porn videos before. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world, but I hope they don't see that I have a boner.
Watching porn with mates is like the fucking
awkward,
biggest stitch up of
Even
all time.
now it would be awkward. I'd be like, oh, fuck it. I don't
Just
know
everyone on their phone in a corner of the room. What's your song of the week, my man?
My song of the week is Whatever by Avoid.
Oh.
Now, I think I've mentioned Avoid a few times. They're kind of like they're more like an upbeat. They're still like metalcore kind of, but they're really like upbeat, high pace, high energy, and their music videos are fucking hilarious. They look like they'd be funny dudes to talk to. So this is like one of their new songs off. They've just released an EP, I think it is. It's just a short EP, but it's just got like heavy sections, sing-alongs, and it's a song about essentially like ripping on the music industry, going like how they're sick of like repeated and regurgitated shit, and they just want to kind of create something that's good.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's good.
What about you?
I'm going to go with Synthetic Heaven by Atlas, the boys in Atlas, after my mic didn't work on the fucking episode. But on when we had the guys on, the drummer who writes a lot of their music told us this really, heart-wrenching story about his grandfather like he was supposed to catch up with his grandfather, but he'd been like doing band prac, working flat out. And then on the Sunday night, like had work early the next morning, and his granddad was like, "Hey, you're supposed to be coming around." And he's like, "Man, I'm just too tired. Like I'll catch you next week." And his grandfather passed away like 2 days later. No pre-existing conditions, like just completely out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so the song was all about that. And he told me, like, he told us about the song, and I'd listened to the song already, but not with like through that lens.
Yeah, it's
And
a
I went
beautiful
home
song,
and I
man.
told Erica about it. And the next day I was like on break at work or whatever. And I was sitting at my desk and I was like, had my headphones on listening to a podcast. I was like, fuck, I'm going to listen to that song properly and watch the film clip. And I just sat there and had the biggest fucking cry of all time. Then messaged the dude from the band and I was like, man, that is a fucking... Because he was talking about how powerful the song was to him. And
It's
I was
such a
like, dude,
vibe,
I just
bro.
sat here and fucking cried my eyes out. And, you know, I just wanted you to know that how moving it is. And yeah, so that's my fucking song of the week,
Love
man.
it,
So
love
shout
it.
out
Sick,
to
man.
shout out to Atlas
Atlas,
again.
man.
Through a working mic, shout out to the fucking
they're-
boys.
nah,
in
that
Atlas.
was like, if you haven't heard the Atlas episode, go back and have a listen to it. Even though his mic wasn't working, you can still hear it through mine. So, you know, we get there. All right, question number 2 for the Guestiones. Hit him with it, my man.
Who is your favorite comedian or comedic actor?
Oh, dude, I have a favorite comedian and comedic actor.
Go on, hit us with both.
Here's for both. Go
Oh, I
on.
have so many though. Favorite comedian is Kyle Kinane.
Oh, I don't know him. Who's that?
He is out of the States. Fucking awesome comedian. I absolutely love his style. His style's kind of like I guess I take from it as well. He's a bit self-deprecating, but then he has like long-winded stories and he's very well spoken as well, but he's just a fucking cool dude that loves like rock and roll music and talks about beer and all that type of stuff.
That's
like,
sick.
right up my alley. Like if you've he's got a half-hour special on Netflix
How's his last name spelled?
Kinane, Kinane.
Okay.
Maybe a double N in there. He has a little half-hour special on the stand-ups on Netflix, which is really cool. He has this joke about the KKK and being a chef for the KKK and like, do you reckon they'd cook like Mexican food and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Which is cool. I really like that guy. Comedic actor. Recently, it's been Nick Swartzman.
Yeah,
Who
Nick Swartz.
is,
Swartzen, whatever. Yeah,
who's also a comedian. He's a comedian as well. But funny as fuck. Like in all the films, he acts in all the Happy Madison stuff.
Yeah,
with Adam Sandler and so on.
my 2 standout parts for him right now: bench warmers as the dude who like is afraid of the sun.
Yeah,
Remember
dude.
that?
I
So
know
good.
that.
Yeah, and then it's right at the end of the movie. They're like,
Yeah.
"What about the moon?" Not a fan. I always remember that line. And in Grandma's Boy is the most
dude.
Who's
fucking.
playing Grandma's Boy?
The like the
one with the
dude
race car
whose
bed.
mum he fucking jerks off all over. That's him. Like his best mate in Grandma's Boy. The main character's best mate is Nick Swartzen.
Oh, okay.
And when he's like the
love
my
that
favorite
movie.
line from that movie is when he fucking beats that dude on Dance Dance Revolution. Is like, what does high score mean? Did I break it?
wait, is he the pussy bitch?
Shit's weak.
That's an iconic line, dude. Iconic line.
Yeah, so he's amazing.
Very good.
I love that guy. I think he's fucking hilarious. But then obviously Danny McBride, Seth Rogen.
yeah, fucking
There's
oath.
so many.
Yeah. Well, Seth, man, like I've got another level of appreciation for Seth Rogen. I mean, Superbad for me is one of my favorite all-time movies, right? But like another recent thing, I was watching the Tommy and Pamela Anderson miniseries
Thing on Disney.
and I
He
was
was
just like, oh
amazing
my
in
god, like
Did you watch that?
I haven't seen it yet.
He's
no.
just he just murders it. Like he
Yeah.
like they all murder it. Don't get me wrong. Like the girl who plays Pamela Anderson, my god, she fucking does a good job of playing Pamela Anderson too.
Yeah.
I had to like double take and be like, wait,
Yeah.
she's old as fuck. There's no way that's actually Pamela. She did such a good job.
But like Seth Rogen, he really like I was losing my mind. Like it was funny when he was like had that when he was breaking into the house and he had the fur coat on and he was like trying to like emulate the dog and shit. Oh, dude, you need to watch
Do you know
it,
the
man.
actual story of like how the porn got out? Since we're talking about the porn, so this is what the whole show's about. That
Okay,
Seth
right.
Rogen plays the carpenter that was working for Tommy Lee, building this ridiculous like extension on the house, and then Tommy Lee just kept trying to change things, kept trying to just be a fucking rock star. Like,
See, this is why I'm a plasterer. So hopefully, break
yeah.
into a TikToker's house.
yeah. So Tommy Lee was being a hell diva about everything, wanting to change things 5,000 times, and like eventually Seth Rogen's character was just like, "Fuck you, dude! Like this is way too much, and you haven't paid any of your invoices." So Tommy Lee goes, "No, fuck you! You're fired. I'm not paying you a cent." So like Seth Rogen, hell disgruntled, comes back and breaks in, steals the safe, like steals Tommy Lee's safe, cracks the safe open. There's sex tapes inside it. And that's the real story.
It's the
that's
actual story?
what
Yeah, that's the
happened.
actual story. Yeah.
So the whole show is about the real story. Like, obviously, I'm sure bits are
exaggerated
embellished,
bits and
but
pieces. Yeah, of
the
course.
basis is the only reason that sex tape ever saw the light of day was that a disgruntled tradie broke into their fucking mansion and stole a safe. That's the actual, which just makes it so fucking cool when you think about how that even became a thing. And you end up feeling really fucking sad for them, like especially Pamela. You're like, holy shit! Like you had no idea how much this actually impacted her career and whatever, and something that she never should have seen the light of day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it was the only thing she was known for really after that was about that sex tape, and you know, she
I
was
don't know. Barbed Wire was pretty sick.
what the fuck? What's barbed wire? That's what I mean. Is that a movie?
That
with her?
was the movie. She
Yeah.
was like,
Oh, yeah,
they
that's
talk
right. Yeah,
about
they
it
talk
in
about
the
it in the
movie.
thing,
They
yeah.
talk about it.
She also had a TV show called like VIP. I remember watching that, dude. That was sick. That was on like during the day or on Fox 8 or something.
Yeah.
She
Fox
had like
8, classic.
yeah. So my dad, I fucking love this guy. He's a legend, right? When I was like 15, I broke my ankle and I had to. He still made me go to school, but he would make me pick. Do you want to go in the morning? Then I'll pick you up at lunchtime, and then you can come home and chill with me. Or do you want to go at lunchtime and do the rest of the day, and then you can come home? That way you have a sleep in. And I was like, no, I'll go in the morning, and then I'll come home at lunchtime.
Get out of the way.
And like just because it was a huge school and I was on crutches and couldn't fucking move, and I had like pins in there and shit. Anyways, he'd pick me up, we'd go get lunch, we'd go home, and we'd get home and Baywatch would be on.
Yeah, nice.
And we had Foxtel, but we were in country Victoria, so it was called Ozstar.
Yeah. My
Baywatch.
fam had
Okay.
All Star over on Kangaroo
Did they
Island.
change the name of it over there, did they?
No, it was like so basically Foxtel was like Metropolitan,
Yeah.
and then Country had Ozstar. So
Oh,
like my
okay.
nana
There's-
on Kangaroo Island had Ozstar.
Oh, because I saw Ozstar, because like it was always Foxtel to me, and I saw Ozstar every now and then, but I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, so it's basically country cable.
Okay,
dude.
interesting.
And then I think we'd watch Baywatch, and then after that we'd I'm sure VIP would come on or something, which was
Yeah.
like the Pamela Anderson show where she was like a detective or something.
Yeah.
And then there was all these other hot birds around her as well. I'm like, this is the best.
You're like, fuck yeah, broke my ankle again. Like, all right.
Question number 3.
Question number 3.
This changes all the fucking time.
Well,
but-
yeah, we got the first 2 down pat, and then after that,
after that,
it just fucking goes everywhere.
rolls into
It just
some
go- it just
bullshit.
goes
Wing it,
everywhere.
boys.
It just goes everywhere.
How- especially after you've had fucking we've nearly finished a bottle of fucking Maker's Mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever meditated before?
Sorry?
Have you ever masturbated before?
Yes.
Have you ever masturbated before to Pamela Anderson?
yes.
Yes. Have you ever meditated?
Yes.
What's your experience
I
with it?
have the Calm app,
Yes,
which
yep.
I think a lot of people like that shit or whatever. I really like it.
Hey, whatever.
Well,
works
yeah,
for
hey,
you.
Some-
fucking hell,
sometimes-
yeah, as long as it works.
Sometimes I'll use the sleep stories help me sleep, especially when got like a big project that I'm working on for I know I'm flat out for the next 2 months doing a job, and I'm working, getting home, having a couple of beers, going straight to bed, and this is like get home at 4:30. I'm in bed before 7 o'clock.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I'm up at fucking 5 in the morning.
yeah.
And I'll jump into bed and I'll put like a sleep story on, put that on, and that helps. Throughout my hospitality career, I started getting really bad anxiety, and I've had depression all my life. And so, I battle every day fucking every day. Sometimes it's hard to get out of bed and so on. And sometimes I'll get up and things will be overwhelming and I'm like, fuck. And I'll use this app and it's got like an SOS anxiety meditation where you can just put that on and I fucking turn off the lights and I sit on the floor just cross-legged. I put that on and I close my eyes and all it is breathing. All it is breathing and just that breathing, you know, in through the nose, out through the mouth and just a calm voice there just reminding you that, dude, everything's cool. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
You're okay.
That's cool.
Sometimes
man.
I need to do
I
that
like
in
that.
the morning. Sometimes I need to do that at night. Like something will overwhelm me. A thought about, fuck, did I do that ceiling right at work? Like
Yeah.
something dumb like that. Like
Yeah,
oh,
well,
I've
that's the
got-
thing with anxiety or depression or something like that. Is it just there? Sometimes there is no trigger. I know sometimes for me, I'm just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, nothing's triggered it. It's just I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like there's no like I know what you mean. Yeah. That's cool, man. I like that. So what's this app called for people that would
Calm.
be calm? Very good. Very cool.
Yeah. It's got a few different meditations on there. It's got stuff that honestly, like it's got a sleep one where, you know, you lay in your bed and there's this old style that the military use where they will climb into bed and you start breathing through your nose and through your mouth and you try and think about your nose and relax from there and all that.
Yeah.
I've been through one of those.
Interesting because
before.
like it's funny like I've heard about the same thing or I've done the same thing, but you start at your feet and work your way up.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's the same kind of thing. Yeah.
It's the same thing, and apparently that's what they use to be asleep within a couple of minutes or
Yeah.
whatnot. But Calm do the same one through your feet and all that, and I love that. Like if my brain's not going too hard and I can actually stop and do that and jump into bed and do that, then it's sweet and I fall asleep awesomely.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I use those things. Even some days, if I've got a day off or I come home from work and, you know, it's sunny outside and no one's home, well, I will sit down on the grass and just enjoy the sun and just do some breathing exercises.
man. That's and like it kind of like circles back to what I was saying about the change of career, like how I'm sure, and I'm assuming for you, but I'm sure that you've probably dealt with it less now since going back to this work. I know that it would still pop up and wreak havoc, but I'm guessing the reason why you're so satisfied with the change is that you're battling way less on a regular basis.
Way less, but I've been able to deal with it better.
Yeah.
I've learned better ways to be able to deal with it.
Yeah.
And also, you know, being up at 7 a.m, seeing sunlight and all that, because in bar work, you're not seeing daylight. You're not getting that vitamin D.
Yeah.
Like,
And then drinking till, as you said, like finishing at 1, drinking till 3, going home, passing out, waking up, starting your day already, middle of the day, groggy, got to do it all over again, going through that Groundhog Day, like all of that is such a festering ground for
100%.
anxiety and not helping your depression.
Yeah.
Whereas like getting up, getting your day started, doing something physical, like obviously bar work, you know, you are moving around, but what you're doing right now is really meticulous, really physical. You get to see a finished product. Like that's a huge thing about the kind of work that you're doing now is like starting with this and ending up with this and being like, wow, look at what we're doing. Whereas like, I guess maybe you get a bit of that from a cocktail, but it's not the same, you know, especially when you've done it 1,000 times. Whereas like a different building, a different type of thing that you've done, you can find that like, yeah, we actually fucking smashed that. We did such a good job way more often than what you would get in the work that you were doing before. And I guess observing that about yourself, because if you didn't, you could have kept doing that for another 5 years and that stuff could have become way worse.
Oh, yeah.
To the point that then you are all of a sudden, you know, not getting out of bed at all or whatever. And now getting back into something like your trade is a fucking distant, you know, afterthought. So I think it's really important that you kind of identified, hey, this is not, and had the support of your work as well. Like the Howling Hour were really good.
My friends as well.
Yeah.
Like, I had good mates that went, you're not happy, man. Like you really got to do something. And it took a long time because sometimes you don't know how to help yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was very lucky to be helped by friends that helped, you know, kick me up the butt to make these changes and to do better things. So, I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given to move into this position where I am now.
Awesome, man.
Which is great.
That's so great.
That's so good.
good.
Man. That's so good.
Well, question number 4. I'm going to hit him with something a little bit spicy.
Okay.
What's one conspiracy theory that you believe in?
Dude, I've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
I have been down I've been getting right into it lately. I love the Skinwalker Ranch stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
we haven't talked.
that.
No,
yeah.
we haven't talked about Skinwalker Ranch at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff, and I love how that links in with Tom DeLonge now,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And he's to the
Bringing
Stars
back
Academy.
that punk love from
Yeah,
the
dude,
fucking...
yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of theories about the To the Stars Academy being a psyop, basically, as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people from like Raytheon and all them kind of
Big tech companies.
yeah, big military industrial complexes being involved with Tom DeLonge. A lot of people are going, well, hold a minute, like
But now there's the person that owns Skinwalker Ranch. They have like a military type like people guarding it.
oh, okay,
Yeah, which is meant to be weird. But then there's this story about Robbie Williams
Really?
being linked to Skinwalker Ranch as well.
Robbie or Robin?
Robbie, like the
Yeah.
singer. Have
It's,
you not?
it's funny because actually, like me and my brother were listening.
So when he's saying, as an angel, he's
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
as an alien.
on my doorstep. Yeah, we were actually talking about Robbie Williams recently. We were like, I wonder what that guy's doing. Man, I wonder what he's doing.
Just, he
Dude,
looks
he
like someone
bought- he
who's just
apparently
done
bought-
more coke than Wayne Carey,
Yeah,
for sure.
He apparently bought an island so you could just go on the island and just look for UFOs.
UFOs.
Fuck, that's so sick.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's a cocaine. fucking
yeah, that's
dream
so
right there.
fucking sick.
Or mushies, just hell
Yeah.
mushies and fucking DMT.
Have you
Pine
guys
Island.
seen the movie Nope?
Nah.
It's,
No, I haven't yet. No,
just
but
recently
I want.
come out.
Okay.
It's made by, is it Jordan Peele, who
Yeah.
made Get Out and one of the other ones. This one's about aliens and so
Okay.
on, and it starts like on a ranch. And I was watching it, I'm like, hang on, this is like, there's aspects here that are kind of like Skinwalker Ranch. Like, this is kind of cool. Oh, I'm kind of like linking this to it, but then it goes in a whole different aspect and goes far away from that. And it's a cool movie. I'm not going to give away any spoilers.
yeah.
Just if you get a chance, go see it. It's fucking cool.
I'd love to actually go to you know how like at Skinwalker Ranch they do those like weekend retreats where
Yeah.
you can actually go there and they go to is it in Mount Shasta in America?
I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's in Mount Shasta where they go up this mountain and then they all sit there and they have the app on their phone where it's like the satellite so they can see the satellite movement to make sure that it's not a satellite. Right, and they go there and they sit there with like a whole bunch of equipment and they watch and like you're almost guaranteed to see a UFO
Wow.
because like obviously if it's a satellite you'll see it on the app.
Is that,
you
are you
know.
sure that's Skinwalker Ranch? Because Skinwalker Ranch is meant to be like real weird now, and it's not meant to be people going.
Oh
there.
really? Is it changed up?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting confused. Maybe I'm getting that weekend trip confused or something else.
okay.
But like yeah, because I know that there was at one point you could do something like that where it was like a retreat for a weekend. So
Maybe that is. Maybe not.
yeah.
So big alien man though. You believe?
I
there's
love the
definitely-
alien stuff.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I keep going on?
Keep
about
going,
it?
man. Yeah.
There's the Bigfoot stuff. I think's really cool.
Yeah, we've had that come up a couple of times, which is funny.
Well, there's
like,
there's the Bigfoot stuff where they talk about how there's this different type of like being that lives in the mountains that comes out and kills people and so on. And that it's not actually like a Bigfoot. It's like this different type of person.
So like reptilian based, you mean, or
No, it's like it looks like a Bigfoot, but
Okay.
it's a
just Sasquatch, maybe?
yeah. But they live in the mountains, and that's why they have like all these rules about the American national parks and all
Oh,
that type of stuff.
okay, interesting.
And then that links into alien abduction, and
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
type
yeah.
of stuff, and the like, what is it? The 411, which is like all the abduction people that haven't been found. Have you?
Okay, interesting. I didn't know there was like a classification for it.
Yeah, it's like the missing 411 or something, which is all the people that have gone missing. Oh, dude, I've been listening to a couple of podcasts.
Yeah,
and,
sick.
and like looking like right into it, and it's just like I don't believe a lot of it, but I just really enjoy listening to
Yeah.
the stories.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just because it's like it's cool to listen, like and. Oh yeah, what if that is real? Like
We're
I haven't
Jewish
seen it.
conspiratorial.
Well, we are
haven't
dual
done-
conspiratorial, man. I actually shouted this channel out a few times. There's this girl called Kerry Cassidy who runs this I guess like Rumble channel now. She used to be on YouTube, called Project Camelot, and they've got a Project Camelot website. And it feels like, and I kind of sit there, I'm the same as you. I'm sitting there going like, all right, my critical thinking brain is going like, I can't believe everything that all of her guests and all that she says.
Yeah.
But like the stories are just crazy. Like literally, like one of the ones I was listening to last night or the night before was about Sasquatches and like the whole, like, you know, heaps of insiders into with Israel and shit like that. It's just nuts, man.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
I listened to one of my mates put me onto this because obviously beer drinker, love booze. Necronomipod.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, I have actually.
So
Yeah.
it's these 3 dudes, and they all sit down and they drink beer together, and you hear them cracking beers and so on. And one of them will research a subject, whether it be serial killers, Sasquatch, fucking aliens, one of that. And then he'll do all this research and then he'll explain it in his own words. And the other 2 are just kind of drinking, just saying what they know about it and so on. And it's a really cool way to sort of learn different
that's
stuff
cool.
about these different...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Blake Anderson from Workaholics was on one of the episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
But yeah, it's I listen to that a bit now. I don't listen. I find I love the alien stuff, Sasquatch stuff, all that type of shit. I don't listen to like the serial killer stuff. I can't get around that. Like, I'm just like, that's too dark for me. Like,
It's either governments are fucked or shit's like not what you think it is. That's like the 2.
There's been a few times that like couple of our things where we've delved into more like the Pizzagate conspiracy and like the pedophilia and stuff like that as well. But we don't tend to dip that way because like a lot of people aren't ready to hear that, man. They're not ready to hear that kids are getting killed. You know what I mean? Like
dude, that stuff's just like...
It's so depressing.
It's so fucking sad,
really
bro.
is.
The fact that there's substantial evidence to it as well is what makes it
I mean,
sad.
you look at the whole fucking Epstein thing and him obviously.
See, I don't know anything. I haven't listened to anything about the Epstein stuff. I just know that he was a bad person.
Yeah.
And that suspiciously died in fucking custody.
Well, I know what people have said, but I haven't listened to any of it. Not because like I don't believe it. It's just like
that
I don't want to
so
know.
Heavy.
It is. It's the heaviest of heavy, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah,
it
when
is.
there's fucking kids
That's
involved,
right.
man. So.
Do you know much about the Skinwalker Ranch?
No, I don't actually.
Do you know where they got the? I think it's cool. The story of the Skinwalker started with the Native Americans, and Skinwalkers were actually Native Americans that had done something like really bad, and then they become this other type of being. So if they had like killed a person of their family or something, then they became this other being, and then that made them have these weird powers where they could turn into animals and all this type of shit.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where it sort of started off, and then it sort of goes from there, and then the actual ranch was owned by all these old people. I'm literally saying what I've
of course, yeah.
and it's a really cool story. So that one is a conspiracy that I love.
Very good, very good.
Man. That was the most in-depth answer.
That
we've had
was.
tonight.
Well, do you want to hit him with the final question?
We got 2 more.
Oh, we got one more
two
before this?
Yeah, the new one that we've added.
Oh, yeah, go on. Yeah, hit him with that. I like
you
that
talked
one.
before about things that you're grateful for with the opportunities. We've got a new question that we've added now that I absolutely fucking personally love. What is 3 things that you're grateful for today?
Right, yeah, cool. I'm really grateful for my friends. Everybody, like, I don't have a big family. Like, I have my dad and my sister, really.
Yeah.
That's it. And so friends to me become my family. And I'm so grateful for the friends that are close to me, the friends that aren't close but still check in from time to time. I'm just grateful for that. I'm grateful for my old man. He's like, I said it before, he's a legend.
And he's come up so much in this pod as well. Like, you can tell before
he
you
sounds
even
legendary.
said that.
He sounds legendary. Did you do anything for Father's Day?
No, because he's back home.
Oh,
so
true.
I did call him. He called me the night before because I'm a Collingwood supporter and we're watching the footy. He's an Essendon supporter.
Oh,
so
Anzac Day, right?
Anzac Day, we call each other. We used to like go and watch footy together. We call each other and have a bit of a chat. There's no real like, oh fuck
animosity.
you, animosity or anything. It's just we like to call each other and have a bit of a chat. But he's fucking cool, right? So when he was like 16 or something, he went to a dress-up party and dressed as Yogi Bear.
Yeah, okay.
And everyone thought that was like really funny. I don't know how he did it. I'm guessing all he did was have like a tie and a hat. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
But ever since then, he was known as Yogi.
That's cool.
And from like till this day, like everyone knows him as Yogi. And he, like, you go back to our hometown and if you can ask someone at the local store, like, you know, do you know Paul Watson? That's his real name. Do you know Paul Watson? They're like, no. You say, do you know Yogi Watson? They're like, yeah, he just lives down the road. Like,
That's
I love
crazy.
that guy. He's so
He's got
good.
lore. He's got lore.
Yeah. So, but nah, I'm very grateful for my old man. Grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given in this life. Unfortunately, you know, I haven't grasped everything that I've been given, but
No one can, man.
the things that
No one
I have, I'm super stoked. Like, you know,
Fuck yeah, dude.
I've had the ability to be a comedian. I've had the ability to, you know, fucking go back to my trade. I've had the ability to fucking work in a bar and, you know, make cocktails. Like, I've been given so many opportunities to succeed, and I am so grateful for those opportunities. So whoever they are, everyone who has given me an opportunity, I'm so
Love it,
That's
man.
awesome, man.
Love
And that's
it.
why I love that
That's
fucking
why I love
question,
it. That's
dude.
why I
So
love it.
good. Well,
Alright.
the one that everyone's here
Last
for,
one.
though, the one
Last
that
one.
matters.
Last one. Do you want to hit with it? Or do you
I want you to hit him with it because you make me all the time. I want
Yeah,
you to
I know.
nail the. You've had way more alcohol than you've normally had.
Normally I have zero alcohol, but this time.
So hit him with the
All right.
final question,
Would you
my man.
rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
The silence is just
Silent. It's tense.
You need that. You know that. What's the?
We need the. We know the weakest link. I have the heartbeat.
Yeah.
do I have weapons?
Well, I don't know.
No,
I don't think we specified.
I think after this many times we've asked it and we've never specified it, I think it's hand to hand. Well, hand to
hand.
Hand to
All right,
bill
you can have.
or hoof.
You can have knuckle dusters. How's that? You can have knuckle dusters.
Wow,
All right, yeah.
okay.
In that case, I'm taking on a horse-sized duck.
Yeah.
Okay. You think
Yeah.
the knuckle dusters will just fucking allow you to get in?
One hit to the beak and he's done. Like he's
'Cause-
dropping like a fucking fly.
No, because I just feel I might like. I've always thought that I could just like kick the fuck out of small horses. Like I could just
Yep.
kick them and not worry. But for some reason, I'm scared that they're going to overwhelm me.
Yeah. Well, there's 100 of them. So,
Yeah. And so if that's being said, I'm going to take
You
on.
hate it when people don't agree with you, bro.
I'm going to take on a big duck.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm going to fuck that duck up.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
another one for my team.
Another one. You've had a couple lately.
had a
You've
couple
had a
lately.
couple after a big resurgence in the.
Yeah,
in the-
because we got this kind of tally going on where, like, for a while there was a few people that were like, "Nah," on his side, and then now I'm kind of starting to get a few
Starting to
people
teeter
going,
back.
"You know what? I'll fuck that. I'll fuck that duck up, man. I'll take that."
So
on.
it's good. I'm glad it's split down the middle. It'd be a shit
Yeah.
question if it was constantly the right
if
answer.
it was
right? I
always
think
one answer.
the reason why the question is the gestion of gestions.
Exactly.
Is that it-
I always liked ducks until I found out that they rape. And now I'm like, I'm against them. I also know that ducks are racist.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They've got that
Yeah.
inherent racist.
Well, they've got their own
Tendencies
like
built into them.
zebra crossings and they don't use them.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's
yeah.
disrespectful, isn't it?
Like, I'm pretty sure
they
that,
hate the quacks.
They hate the quacks.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they've got their own gang, like the Clue Ducks clan.
This isn't a fucking comedy act. Save it for the sharks, motherfucker. But on that note, my man, we have, I mean, obviously with a couple of breaks, but we have ticked over to a mean little fucking 2 hours of pod break cocktail. I'm starting to feel it a little bit now. I'm feeling a little bit.
Oh, I've been feeling it.
Hey, you got that question out pretty well. I'm proud of you.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
But look, thank you so much for coming on, my man. It's been
My
good.
pleasure.
Yeah,
like,
thanks for coming on.
Obviously, because you took the break and you were doing your trade, like we caught up a whole heap through my Fringe in 2020, and then lockdowns happened. You changed careers, have a break from comedy, so we haven't really got to catch up. So it was so good being able to catch you at that cranker. We've teed up this pod. I've got you on the Sharks gig next
Yeah, dude.
week. So it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming down and giving us Whiskey Sour is fucking
Whiskey
right up there.
sours, yeah.
What was the second one? A classic.
We did
that was
a
old
bourbon
fashioned.
old-fashioned.
Old fashioned. Both of them would drink them again in a fucking heartbeat. The third one, just a very classic.
Just a straight up. Very classic.
It's just a very classic
whiskey and
fucking
Coke,
whiskey and
really,
Coke.
can't it?
With a hint of lime.
Well, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
And the double shot to finish
it off.
Zach Watson, thank you for coming on to Wormholes, man.
Thank
we
you
really
so much for
appreciate
having
it. Make sure you fucking go and follow this man on the Instagram, on the TikTok.
what's your Instagram and TikTok handles?
TikTok is at ZachiWatt13.
Yeah. Bit of a username kind of taken situation there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I assume so. And Instagram's Lord Zackington.
Yes,
nice,
that's right.
nice.
Yeah,
All right, we'll get over
Hit
there.
him up on all those things. Head down to the Sharks,
yeah.
Salisbury Sharks on September 17th. Get your tickets on Event Finder. Make sure you share this shit around.
We'll be there.
Review this shit. Tell your nana. Tell your mum.
Follow the YouTube, follow the TikTok, follow the Instagram because
Follow us into an alleyway.
Just follow us into an alleyway because there's going to be more content coming out the arse. So
Peace out.
love it.
We love you.
Peace out.